Hey Dino Dudes, what's going on? It's me, the Media Raptor, and I'm back with yet another movie review. Today, guys, I'm going to take a look at a superhero movie. Like I haven't reviewed one of those recently, or a ton of them. Anyhow, this one, probably one of the better ones I've seen so far. It is the 2016 action-adventure superhero extravaganza, X-Men Apocalypse. Let me start out by saying, this movie was awesome in every regard of it. And I know what you're going to say. Raptor, you say that about everything. You say that all movies are awesome, and then later you come back and say, oh yeah, they were okay, but they were fun, but... No, you guys... This movie is the best X-Men movie. And I loved all 6 X-Men movies, including this one. I loved X-Men, X2, I loved X3. A lot of people hate it. I thought it was good. I don't know why everyone hates it. I thought X-Men First Class was great. I loved Days of Future Past. And this just came and made the whole thing even better. You know what? So far, I don't think there's been a bad X-Men movie. No, I kind of like that one, actually. Oh, come on, we're not allowed to have our own opinions. What's wrong with someone having their own opinion? Oh yeah, this is the internet. Anyhow, you guys, so far, there have been 9 X-Men movies. Technically, let me explain. Like I said, there's all the X-Men movies till Days of Future Past, which is 5. Apocalypse, then they have X-Men Origins Wolverine, The Wolverine, and Deadpool. Deadpool is canon to the X-Men movies, I'm pretty sure. It's same team, sort of same universe. So you know what, I'm gonna call it canon until I'm either corrected or it's confirmed. So yeah. And really, the sad thing is, 3 of those movies are now on my top 5 favorite superhero movie list. If you asked me right now to name my 5 favorite superhero movies, it would be Deadpool, Justice League Flashpoint Paradox, The Wolverine, X-Men Apocalypse, and... what would the 5th one be? That's a really hard one. Probably Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Probably. Like, straight up, right now, if you ask me to, that's what I would say. X-Men Apocalypse, it's number 3, you guys. And I don't think anything will ever be Deadpool, at least until Deadpool 2, because... Well, we've waited so long for Deadpool, and we've waited through so much pathetic, you know, just to get it made, that when it finally came out, it was a friggin' masterpiece. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I've already talked about Deadpool. I'm here to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. So, I say it's the best X-Men movie, at least in the main 6. Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, let me explain. Also, spoiler alert. There will be some minor spoilers. We have a really interesting story with Apocalypse, him being this Egyptian god sort of guy. Like, one of my problems with the movie, though, is they never explain exactly who Apocalypse is. And I don't think they even call him Apocalypse. But that's what they called him in the comics, so... Bite me, I'm calling him Apocalypse. Hang on. Sorry. Anyhow. And one of his powers is he can essentially take the powers of other mutants through this whole, like, ritual sacrifice thing, like, in Egypt, in the pyramids. And he has the ability to, like, just point at something and it disintegrates, or he can, like, or he can just kill, like, 7 people just by looking at them. Like, he's a really threatening villain. And what does he want to do? Well, he wants to completely wipe out the entire world and start anew. Yeah, hands up, has anyone ever heard of that plot before? Really? Only me? Huh. But one thing I do like about Apocalypse, and I have to give him credit for, he does kind of justify what he's doing. It's not just, oh, I'm evil and I'm mad at everyone, so I'm gonna kill everyone. He's like, no, people have fallen far away from what the world should be. We need to start over. To be honest, I think, yeah, we've screwed up as people in real life. We've screwed up. I'm not saying that if some dude came down and said, hey, I'm gonna kill everyone and start again, I'd be like, woohoo, I'm totally on your side. I'm just saying there's room for improvement. But You know, compared to some other superhero movies, villains, when it's just like, I don't like you for this odd reason, like Batman v Superman, it's like, you may have killed somebody that I may have known who may have worked for me, even though we never explained it. We could have figured this out by talking about it for 5 minutes, but no, we couldn't. Let's fight and I'll kill you. It's not that. It's, he's got a reason, he's got motivation. He doesn't have a backstory, though, is what really kind of slows it down. And he has these 4, I guess, horsemen in the beginning of the film before they bring down the pyramid and kind of bury him for several hundred years. Maybe, I don't friggin' know, a couple thousand years at least. And when he wakes up, he ends up using Psylocke, Storm, Angel, and Magneto. Like, they become the new horsemen. Okay. Here was one of my other problems with the movie. Storm was always a good guy. She was always one of the X-Men. Psylocke, she was part of X-Force. I don't think she was ever a villain. Angel, I'm pretty sure he was a good guy. Magneto was always a bad guy. Now, granted, while they do flip their characters' loyalties, they do something else. They give all these characters a reason to want to work with Apocalypse. And it's a really good reason. I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but Magneto, you know, through these new films, from First Class to now, they've been kind of giving him a much more human personality, much more human backstory. They've been making you feel kind of bad for him throughout the entire thing. They've been making you feel for him. And in this, yeah, I was actually with Magneto for part of the film. I thought, you know what? These people need to die. And if Magneto's gonna kill them, I'm cool with it. I really don't want to spoil what happens, because well, I'll get to that when I get to that. Yeah. And Storm, she's like Nathan Drake. She's just a thief, like, living on the streets. Angel, he's being forced to fight in an electrified cage or they'll kill him. And Psylocke, I don't really know what she was doing. But she was cool. She was really cool. And we also get a pretty interesting origin story on Cyclops, Scott Summers. And we get to kind of see him coming to terms with his powers, which I thought was cool because in the X-Men movies and the comics and the cartoon, he's always been at terms with it. It's sort of like, what happens when this is the first time that he gets his powers, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So the main story itself is a little bit cliched, I will admit it. It's kind of the whole good guy here, bad guy here. Bad guy wants to destroy the world, good guy says no, bad guy goes and tries to destroy the world, good guys come and fight, yada, 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 yada. But while they do go with kind of a somewhat formulaic plot, they give all the characters and new characters a ton of depth and personality. We see young Jean Grey, young Cyclops, a slightly older Havoc, young Nightcrawler, Jubilee, who luckily was not a main character, she was just a background character, Beast, Professor Xavier, Magneto, Storm, Angel, Psylocke, Mystique, like all these characters who either we know from the past 2, or at least from the original 3 movies. They give them a lot more in personality. They make them a lot more human, a lot more relatable, and that was great. And to be honest, this is not really a spoiler. One of the funniest scenes in the movie is, so Jubilee and Jean, Nightcrawler, and Cyclops all decide to go downtown, just kind of hang out. They're walking out of Star Wars Return of the Jedi because this is set in the 80s. And then they're debating, like, oh, which one was better? And then as they're walking away, you just hear Jean say, like, they're talking about it, but the way they're talking about it, they're actually criticizing the original X-Men trilogy. Like, I kid you not. They are literally making fun of the original X-Men trilogy with Star Wars. And then Jean ends it by saying, come on, guys, we can all agree at least that the third one is always the worst. The whole theater started laughing. This movie... Okay, here's the part that's kind of hard to talk about. One second. this movie is both more violent, darker, and has a higher body count than Deadpool. Yeah. This movie, it's more violent and has a higher body count than Deadpool. And I live in Canada. We don't have PG-13. We have G, PG, 14A, 18A, R, and X, which isn't really used anymore unless for stuff like Fritz the Cat. But that was the 70s. I don't think we've used that in generations. Anyhow, this movie is rated PG in Canada, and it's more violent and more brutal than Deadpool. Okay, we have people getting decapitated, people getting their throats slit, people getting crushed under falling rocks with their limbs sticking out. And the thing is, it's not done comedically. It's done seriously. You guys, at the very end, there is a huge, awesome moment at the end of the movie, and I don't want to spoil what happens, because it's something from the third movie which they do so much better. And Apocalypse, spoiler here, gets killed. And his face, his whole body is literally being peeled away. And the camera's like this, like it's sideways sort of, just go with me here. And like this whole section is peeled off in fire, and you see his skull. That was awesome! Okay, yeah, it's awesome, you guys. Like, Magneto decapitating a bunch of like 12 people with a necklace, that's awesome! The whole beginning, pyramid scene, like when people are getting contorted and torn in half, thrown around and burned to death, and just their skeletons are left. Dude, that's awesome. When Wolverine shows up for literally the 5 minutes he's in here, and he tears a dude in half, he kills like 50 people. And that's the only scene that really had blood. Like, there's one shot when he like stabs the guy in the chest, and then it doesn't show the guy, but you can see he's tearing into his throat and his chest. Okay, this is one of the most brutal superhero movies ever made. Alright? If it had blood in it, like all the deaths had blood, it would be gorier than Deadpool. That's not a bad thing, but come on, man. PG. When you have people being tormented, like torn apart, melted into walls, decapitated, shot, stabbed, impaled, yeah, PG my ass. So that's writing. And, well, writing is the only thing that's really flawed. Literally everything else is great. The acting, it's great. You know, Hank McCoy and Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, all the actors we know are back, and they're doing their characters again, and they're great. All the new actors, they're great. I loved the new Jean, I loved the new Cyclops, I thought Nightcrawler was great. Oh, Quicksilver, yes, I forgot to mention him. Quicksilver is, if there's no reason, if you hate the X-Men, at least go watch this movie for Quicksilver. He is the funniest character in this whole movie, and like in Days of Future Past when he freezes time, there's another scene like that, and it is absolutely hysterical. Any scene that he shows up in, it's just hilarious. And his actor, I want to see more of him. All the actors do fantastic jobs. The only thing better than the acting is the special effects. You guys, when Magneto's creating this giant storm of all this metal stuff surrounding him, or when Apocalypse is making a gun disintegrate in a man's hand, or when they're tearing off buildings and rebuilding a pyramid, and all the statues and everything of him and the Four Horsemen are being formed from like the trash into solid steel, it is unbelievable. This is some of the best CG Marvel has ever done. Ever. There was not a single moment that I can remember where there was bad CG. And man, it was beautiful. The opening scene in Egypt, when they had done this entire thing, like there were pyramids everywhere. It's this huge, sweeping shot. It is gorgeous to look at. It looks like something out of an Uncharted game. And I know they're making an Uncharted movie. I am so pumped for that, because if there's a video game franchise which could work as a movie, it's Uncharted. That and Assassin's Creed, but go watch my trailer reaction to that. Anyhow, so what else is there to talk about? Music? The score was giving me like chills and goosebumps, you guys. Like, the score is haunting and it's amazing. Camera work? What do you expect? The camera work's fine. The lighting? It's fine. All in all, can I recommend X-Men Apocalypse? Totally. You guys might be surprised by this, but this movie scores 3.5 raptor claws out of 4. Now you might be going, whoa, wait a minute, Raptor. You gave Civil War 4 out of 4. Why are you giving Apocalypse 3 out of 4? Well, 3.5 out of 4. Well, Civil War was great, and Apocalypse is far better in every way. Like, story-wise, it's pretty much, Civil War is the same as Batman v Superman with a better plot, though. It's got a lot of the same ideas and same story points. See, the reason why I'm giving Civil War, Apocalypse 3.5, is because I'm really trying to get a little bit harsher with my ratings. I don't want to just be like, hey, that movie was entertaining, 4 claws, and then later I'm like, I wish I hadn't given it that, because it's good, it's not that good. So you know what, in all honesty though, this movie deserves 3.5 claws. The only reason it does not receive more is because Apocalypse isn't given much backstory. There is some stuff that just doesn't make sense, like why some of the good guys are bad guys. And it could have easily worked as a 2-hour movie, not a 2.5-hour movie. But those scenes where it is kind of slow, it's not like Batman v Superman when you're sitting there like, where is this going to get going? It's like 2 minutes, it's slow, and you're like, oh, come on, get back to the action. And then it's like, hey, we haven't killed anybody in a while. Let's kill some people. That's literally what Bryan Singer pretty much did. And I'd love to see another one. I'm looking forward so much to the third Wolverine movie, which will be Old Man Logan, I believe. But I'd love to see an X-Men movie, another one with these guys. And if Wolverine would be in that, that would be awesome. Even if it's not Hugh Jackman. So, can I recommend this movie? Totally. Go watch it. Out of all the movies in theaters right now, you know, stuff like Alice Through the Looking Glass, the Angry Birds movie, this, Neighbors 2, The Nice Guys, Captain America Civil War, and whatever else is there. I don't really know what else is there. I would say, straight up first, go watch this. Then Civil War, then The Nice Guys, then the Angry Birds movie, then Neighbors 2. Yeah. I haven't seen the Angry Birds movie, and before you guys ask, I'm not gonna see it in theaters because everyone who I would go, like my group of friends who I see movies with, none of them are willing to go see it. And I'm not going to the theater alone. The only reason why I saw Unfriended alone is because I was with my friends and then they left. So, I ain't going through that again, sorry. So, yeah, I'll probably do like a reaction to it when it comes, like reaction and review when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. So, yeah. For now though, this is a great movie, go see it. Me? I'm gonna go try and beat Uncharted 2. I'm very close to beating it. And so until next time, guys, well, I'm gonna start getting harsher on my ratings, but you know what? That's a good thing, because you'll get more honest reviews. We're getting closer to episode 100, so until next time, this is the Meteor Raptor saying keep cool, and I will see you dino dudes around. Later.